Hi, welcome to Creator Toolbox, a show brought to you by the ServiceNow Developer Program, where we demo new ServiceNow features for basically to expand your developer toolbox. So, in the top right corner above Lauren's shoulder, you'll see that we're in the Washington, D.C. Release. So, every content that you see that has that logo, you can tell that's all about Washington, D.C., the release for ServiceNow. Be sure to check out our content calendar. It's at devlink.sn/Washington, D.C. You'll be able to see all the different things that we have prepared for you, from blog content, podcast, live streams, videos, etc. But before we jump into our content, let's do some introductions. I'm Earl Duque. I am a senior developer advocate here at ServiceNow. I'm just coming up on about almost 3 years this summer being at ServiceNow, but before that, I was a developer for a lot of customers at higher ed. And I'll pass it to Lauren.
Hey everybody, my name is Lauren McManaman. Earl is apparently the senior developer advocate according to his title. I'm also a senior developer advocate at ServiceNow. I'm coming up on my 7th anniversary, which is very exciting. Prior to that, I was a customer, and then I worked on the SC team for creator workflows. And I will kick it down to Chuck.
Thanks. Hey, I'm Chuck Tomasi, senior developer advocate. Same title, different person. I'm the guy with the bow tie, and today's my birthday! Yay!
Yeah, happy birthday!
Shout out to Andrew Barnes, former developer advocate. It's his birthday too.
That's right.
We have fun with that.
Hey everybody, Brad Tilton. I used to be a senior developer advocate at ServiceNow, but now I am on the outbound product management team for our agent experience products, which are workspaces and UIB and basically everything that touches those.
Very nice. All right, so Creator Toolbox, our topic, if you notice the title of this live stream, it is all about UI Builder in Washington, D.C. That's why we have Brad on the show for you. This is UI Builder week, everybody. So Creator Toolbox today, UI Builder live on Thursday, and then live coding happy hour on Fridays, all about UI Builder. So make sure to check out all the different live streams that we have. Click that little notify me button on each of the streams so you get reminded of when it's coming up. They're all at different time slots throughout this week, so make sure to pay attention to that. But now that we've all been introduced, let's go ahead and jump right into content, and I'll pass it right off to Brad.
All right. All right, so today we are going to talk about the Washington, D.C. release and some of the different workspace and UIB related new features. We'll run through a PowerPoint first and then get into an instance, hopefully pretty quickly with that. Of course, it didn't advance when I hit the keyboard. So safe harbor, make all your purchasing decisions based on what is currently GA. I may say something about what we're planning on doing in the future, and we may or may not actually do that thing. So yeah, that's safe harbor. So we'll do a little bit of an intro. We'll talk about workspaces, then UIB, and then we'll get into an instance. I'm flying through the slides. I did this last week on the Next Experience Academy. So if you want me to go slower on the slides, just go watch that recording. So we'll talk about workspaces, some of the different new things, UI Builder, and then we'll really get in and do some UI Builder demo work. And then a few things we're not going to cover today is individual workspaces. We're shipping like 50 or 60 workspaces right now. So I can't go in and tell you what's new with every single workspace because I don't have that kind of time. But
we have time, Brad. It's okay.
Sorry?
We have time. Don't worry about it.
Oh, sweet. All right, great. Or I don't know what's going on with the workspaces. But all of those workspaces are delivered through the store. So if you are using a workspace right now, now's the time to go in and check and see if there was a store release, which there probably was. So I know SOW, CSM, HR all had store releases corresponding with the Washington release. And so I think at this point, checking the store at release upgrade time is something that we're all kind of used to. But if you're not, that's definitely something to look at. I know when I upgraded to Washington and looked at my upgrades, there were like 90 things that I could upgrade. And I know there's some scripts out there that you can just upgrade everything. but definitely something to take a look at and build into your upgrade process. We won't look at existing components because there's too many of them as well. And then the CLI and developer tools, we're going to get into that in UNI Builder Live on Thursday. So we've got the PM for CLI and the Chrome Next Experience Developer Tools extension, and then some engineers are going to be on the call. So if you have some really hard CLI and DevTools questions, that's the time to ask it, because those are the people that actually build the stuff. I just talk about it all the time. All right, so let's get into some of the new things with Workspace. So the first one is, we've been on this kind of multi-release journey to make email better in an instance. So way back when, I don't know who remembers like all the kill email stuff, but it didn't work. Email lived. And so we are embracing the need to be able to send emails. So what we really want to do is make this email client that shows up in a workspace as similar as possible to the email clients that our fulfillers and agents are used to using, like Outlook and Gmail. And so we're going to be adding more and more features to the email client. But some of the stuff that we added in the Washington release, where the email composer can get popped out into a modeless dialogue window. I don't think any of the workspaces we ship out of the box are doing this yet, but there is an option in UIB to make that pop out. So you can pop the email out and still kind of work on the ticket while you're composing an email. And then we're auto-saving email drafts. So if you start writing an email, I think the lag time is like 3 to 5 seconds. So it'll auto-save, and then you can go back and view all of the drafts and, revert back to, 3 drafts ago or something like that. And then we're also doing some things around knowledge and copying and pasting email addresses. So it's not super exciting, but if you are an organization that heavily uses email from ServiceNow, this is a good thing for your agents. We also added some keyboard shortcuts in the Washington release. So this is keyboard shortcuts. If you hit Command /, you can see the full list of shortcuts based on your context. So if you're in a workspace, you'll see a couple more possible shortcuts there. But those are going to let you just do lots of different things with the keyboard. So this is actually an accessibility feature where you can do lots of things and make things happen without having to use the mouse and click on things. We kind of built out a new framework for this on the back end. And so this is something that eventually developers should be able to leverage and build your own shortcuts. This is also, they can be built into custom components. So if you're building custom components, you'll be able to use the keyboard shortcuts in those components or build your own in those components. And a lot of our components, we've obviously shipped a lot of keyboard shortcuts in those components because that's what you're seeing right now. And then, we're working on even more of those. So there's things like going to a specific tab, opening the all menu and things like that.
Do you have a bunch of Stream Deck buttons set up now for your...
I don't yet. I need to. I need to. I don't have anything yet.
Well, if there's a bunch of keyboard shortcuts, that means you can automate everything via Stream Deck now.
Yeah, and then you can also disable this if you don't like that it's kind of overridden SNUtils, and which I think if you have it enabled, you can do Control / for SNUtils now. I think if you have it on, it actually shows up in this modal that pops up because our node is some sort of wizard and can do things like that. But you can disable this with a system property. It's in the doc somewhere. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe somebody can be the first one to throw it into the chat. The other part about the record page is we brought back the kind of popover when you click the reference icon. It doesn't automatically open in the new tab. So, a lot of this stuff is just, we ship workspaces and people tell us, things that they like and things that they don't like, and then we try to fix those things that make people more productive. So you can still open it in a new tab with that little button that shows up, but that is the little pop over there. We also did a little bit of work on declarative actions, and this is declarative actions is something that we're looking to really kind of redo altogether and make it a lot easier. But in this release, we tried to make it a little easier. And so declarative actions now have their own different application menus and modules that let you get at some of the different records a little easier than it was before. We also automated a couple of steps. So there are some things that you always have to do when you created one that we've auto created those records now. So I think instead of like 7 steps, we're down to 5 steps to create one, which is still not awesome, but better. And then we're supporting, more icons and button colors. You can also unify your actions. So if you have UI actions and declarative actions, you can flatten those out to where you can order them a little better. So again, these are just some little gaps that we're trying to fix. We also have heard the request for more runtime configuration. So when we say runtime configuration, that is, if you have the right role, you are looking at a list or a form and you want to do some configuration of that list or form from that record itself instead of having to hop into a builder and find the thing to configure. And so we have added that to, if you're looking at a record, you can configure the form view directly from that record by clicking into the, persona menu and going to form layout will pop you into form builder. All right, so that was the agent stuff. Let's talk about UIB a little bit. The big thing that we changed with UIB, or one of the big things in this release, is we moved it to the store. And so a lot of times, people are like, "Why would you do that? It makes it more difficult." So the reason that we move things to the store is so that we can release faster. Before we move something to the store, it's tied to a family release. We can only really release twice a year. We do have patches and hot fixes, but we really try to keep those to kind of major bug fixes and not do anything too disruptive that could create, more bugs and defects. And so when we move something to the store, lets us release 4 times a year. And because it's a scoped app on the store, it's a little safer than something that gets pushed into the family release. And so it's really all about, I think the marketing term would be faster time to value is what we call it. But there's something really cool coming in the May release that people are really excited about, that if we weren't on the store, we'd have to wait until, September when Xanadu comes out.
What is it?
So, that's the nice part. Sorry, what was that?
What's coming in May?
Yeah.
I don't think
You gave the safe harbor. Come on.
You said safe harbor.
I
You gotta give
did. I did.
something.
I mean,
Tell us.
I think it's coming, but I'm not going to say.
We need
Tell
a
us.
spotlight.
It'll be a
effect,
surprise.
too,
Find
on
me at
this-
knowledge,
on this
and
unit.
it'll be out by knowledge.
It'll
I'm
be
not
the little
taking you off the
reactions,
screen.
that go
That's
by with
fine.
balloons and hearts and whatnot.
We need a big
but anyway-
spotlight effect on that single cam just to
You
really
know, the
highlight, drive that home.
The internet's just going to speculate at this moment. Look what happened to
That's
Princess
fine.
Kate.
It's probably, your speculating is probably going to be more exciting than the actual thing, but yeah. So when you upgrade to Washington, you do have to go in and upgrade the UIB store app. Something we are going to be doing, but probably not until Xanadu, is giving you a little message inside of UIB if there's an update available, so that you know that you need to go update it from the store. But for now, until we get to the Xanadu release.
Can you make it look like Clippy?
That's a great question. That'd be awesome.
That's getting to be a dated comment. Not a whole lot of people are not going to remember.
That's
what-
true.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a while
Wait,
since Clippy
us
was
all
around.
outing ourselves as millennials. Let's be Clippy.
What's a Clippy?
It's the thing
so
right
yeah,
underneath the
update
Save This
UIB.
icon.
Yeah. So if you upgraded to Washington and you open UIB and you don't see any of what I'm about to show you, that means you need to update UIB. So that'll be the last time I say that. So the coolest thing that we did, I think, in the Washington release is visual data binding, and we'll get in and play with this a little bit. But basically, the way that this used to work was kind of an IntelliSense type deal where you start typing and then you hit the dot and more things come down. And a part of the problem is that it's not very discoverable. There are a lot of things that you have access to that are hard to find. And then formulas, it wasn't very obvious how they work. And so now you have a lot more explanation of how a formula works. You can like plug values into formulas and do all of these things without having to type in. So we'll play with this a little bit more in the instance. We have also got a new add data resource panel. This was kind of my little pet project because I hated how data resources were organized and how hard it was to find the one you wanted to add. So we took the most commonly used data resources and put them at the top, and then added a search button so that you don't have to know, what scope a data resource is in, because it's not always obvious. We also moved the data and scripts. We changed the panel up a little bit to where all of your data resources and scripts just show up at the bottom left. They are not just little icons that you have to click on that are real tiny. And so now they're a little more prominent. We'll look at that in a minute as well.
Saving them clicks.
We've also been adding, so since UIB was around, we've had modal support. So, a modal is a box that pops up where you can't interact with the screen behind it. You have to do something with the modal before you can continue whatever you're trying to do. And in this release, we've added something similar to a modal, but it's called a Modeless Dialogue. And so a Modeless Dialogue is a resizable little panel that pops up on top of whatever you're looking at that you can move around, but also interact with what's behind it. So the email example that I shared earlier is a good use case for a modal. A chat box is another, a Modeless Dialogue. A chat box is another Modeless Dialogue use case. And then I believe it was Utah or Vancouver, we added popovers as well. So we've got modals, modeless dialogues, and popovers. So you can launch any of those things based on any event in UIB. So most of the time that's a click, but it could be a mouse over or a page load or anything like that. You can launch one of those.
Will you be showing that one?
Yeah, we'll look at modeless dialogues a little bit.
I'm interested in seeing that. These
are the reasons why people in our ecosystem needs to start diving into Next Experience, because you could just make anything. None of this stuff was possible inside ServiceNow before.
Not without writing a lot of Angular. Or Jelly.
Or Jelly, yeah.
It's fine. We also did some updates with the column layouts. It's just more kind of usability. Things are a little easier. You can do some things from right-click in the content tree, like layout or add columns, things like that. So again, these are just things that we are hearing from customers or our internal engineering teams that are also using UIB to build out workspaces. And they say, if we did this, it'd be a little easier. So we listen and try to add those things. We've also added a form builder integration within UIB. So if you're looking at a record page and you have the form component, you can edit the form view and pop open form builder. This is part of our really builder unification initiative. Where we have, we're allowing whatever context you're in, you should be able to do your configuration and your development from there. So opening up builders within builders and things like that. Gen AI, No, we can.
Yeah, we made it. I was like, we made it 20 minutes without really mentioning Gen AI. I think that's a record.
Yeah, I don't think I have the right slides for this one. All right, so let's pop into an instance.
Redact.
That's fine. There's some new summarization stuff in the Feb store release.
Please expand on that. I'm just kidding.
We can actually. I think we'll end up seeing it. So let's look at some of the workspace stuff first.
So this is a patch. Is this a GA instance now?
This is a GA instance, I think. I actually didn't confirm. Let's look at it.
Stats do.
Wow. All right. It is patch 1.
Patch 1. Okay.
I feel like that could be a sticker at this point. That's stuff too.
I know I could put that in the little instance message here, but I didn't. So let's go ahead and open a workspace and look at a couple of things. I got a bunch of workspaces on here, but let's look at HR. And let's open a record. So I think this one will work. Was that a comment about the new platform analytics experience?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Have y'all done any platform analytics stuff yet?
I've seen it, haven't used it yet. Looking forward to it.
All
We're
right.
using it in the Builder Tracks labs currently, so it's the first time I'm playing around with it. It's pretty interesting.
Nice. Yeah, it is. It's something that we had put into a workspace a couple of releases ago, and we actually pulled it out of the workspace. Everything's the same. It's just a different experience. And it's now just the platform analytics experience. But that is eventually going to replace all of our classic reporting and dashboard tooling.
There is a conversion tool, though. There's a conversion tool.
Yeah.
There's a migration tool that we shipped in Washington, and now is the time to run that migration tool to see what of your old reports and dashboards may not be able to migrate right now. And they're doing a lot more work on the migration, but Washington is the time to start thinking about that. So I was just with all of my platform analytics friends last week, and they were trying to drive that point home. So
I have to play the old guy card because it's my birthday. Will it also do my home pages and
I was about to
gauges?
say the same thing. Like, there's probably a few customers out there that
deprecate home pages already? I'm not as plugged into the analytics stuff.
No, homepage. If you're still using home pages, come on. What's
I
wrong?
almost forgot what gauges were a couple weeks ago.
But you can take the new analytics dashboards and open them in your workspaces. So we're going to do an academy on that probably sometime late Q2.
Neat.
Yeah. What was I doing? Oh yeah, we're going to show Washington features. So one of them is the newer email client. So if I am saying, hi, Joe, something, I'm not very creative this morning. And then we look at, where is it? We look at drafts. I can see I have these email drafts. I can delete them. I can revert. So just kind of standard email client stuff. I can also move email addresses around, copy paste. I forget how to add knowledge links, but I can do that. So more things. And then if you have it configured correctly, you can pop this into a modeless dialogue instead of a new tab, but the workspace has to kind of have that set up. And I don't think any of our workspaces picked that up for this release. What else do we have? Oh, we had popovers. So one of the other things is if I click on the reference icon, I see it in a popover, and then I can open the new record if I want.
And controlling what shows up in the popover, is that the same thing as back in the platform?
I'm like 90% sure that's the case. I think that is what's the name of that view?
Isn't it's just another view, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought there was like a hard-coded name where that's the view that pops up when you do the popover.
I think you're right. I can't remember the name though.
I don't remember either. It's been too long.
Brad's like platform. Ugh.
Sys pop-up. There we go. I knew somebody would get it.
Thanks, David.
And then again, the runtime, and this is runtime configuration is something we're looking at really seriously over the next couple of releases. So all of the little right-click things that people do on lists and things like that, we are, really trying to bring. We're trying to make the workspace experience just as good as the classic environment experience. If I click form layout, I think it's going to give me the old form layout first, and it'll ask me if I want to open form builder. There we go. Let's try form builder. I think I could have checked the box there. And now we have form builder. So the cool part about this is most of our workspace views are named like service operations workspace for incident or something like that. They're not always named like that, and it's not always very obvious which view you're looking at without kind of going through them. And so this is one way where I will get the view that I am looking at on the form. So an easy way to come in and just do a quick field change or something like that.
And that's all
right.
context related, right?
Yeah, it is all contextual there. So let's jump into UIB unless anybody has any more workspace specific questions.
I would like to see summarization.
Oh yeah, it's here.
Sorry, so we were joking before the stream went live that it's like everyone wants to see Now Assist or Gen AI stuff, and like the main thing is the summarization. So it's just like funny that we're just joking around, like, show us, Brad, show us what it does.
Why? It shouldn't try to summarize because I don't have enough words. This instance may not have the most updated version of summarization. Yeah.
I did see a very funny LinkedIn post. I can't remember who posted, but basically it was an example of summarization on something with no info, and it just wrote the same thing that was in like short description. It was like, and someone was like, nice summarization. I'm like, there was nothing to summarize.
I mean, it's not wrong.
No, it's not wrong. You have to point. It's not wrong.
Yeah, so let me show. I can show the new I mean, they're not like huge features, but one of them is, previously if you didn't have enough words, you had to click on summarization, then it would run for a little bit and then tell you, oh, you're not at the 200 word limit. So we added something to that. Let's see if I can get that message to show here. This isn't my Gen AI instance, so I may not have everything. There we go. Yeah. So it tells me there's not enough activity there to summarize yet, which makes sense. If you only have one work note, you probably don't need a summarization. But that's there. We also do some things where you can control summarization now. You can control who it shows up for and, what circumstances it shows up for, things like that. So that is some of the new stuff for summarization. But let's look at UIB.
You have a tab open with it already too, in case you need it.
I don't think I have a UIB tab open. Do I?
I thought you did.
I don't. Oh yeah, because the fave icon's different. Come on, Earl.
You did it before the stream. We were sitting on it for a while.
All right, so let's open up SOW. First I wanted to show the store app. Why did I lose it? So we'll let that load. And then we're going to create a new page. We are also changing this home page in the future, Safe Harbor, to where it's going to load faster. This is also, yeah. I just upgraded this instance, so I probably shouldn't have done that right before.
And nothing's cached then.
Yeah, it doesn't like it. Oh, why did I refresh right after it loaded? All
Can
right.
you zoom in a little bit too?
Yes. So, oh, come on.
Did you do
There
it?
we go. I didn't reload it yet. I also need a new laptop. So if anybody from IT is watching, this is why.
You and
Here's
Chuck.
your video proof. Yeah. Yeah, Chuck sounds like an airplane taking off when he uses it.
I know. Here, let's.
I'm not eligible for a new laptop till May.
I'm in the same boat, but
Even though mine is 5 years old.
I'd say I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
They gave me a 2-year-old laptop 3 years ago.
Yes.
It physically locks up in the middle of anything. Anyway, enough griping.
All right, we'll just send him this episode.
Is this how you want your company represented?
And then there's me and Lauren with our work laptop sitting in a corner or something.
Don't dox me.
Me too.
I am working on my work laptop. It can definitely run streaming software. And
me too.
Still in a box.
We're cloud software.
It's dusty. I'll leave it at that. It's dusty.
We're on the cloud, okay?
So this is a sneak peek at my knowledge lab, but I'm using some of the new stuff on it. So we'll play around with it a little bit.
This UIB for ants.
This is here we go. Is that better?
That's better. There you go.
So let's take a look at this data and scripts panel here. So if you remember before, we had these little icons down in the bottom left, and they were kind of hard to use. And when you open them up, they just gave you this tray at the bottom, which was sometimes nice, sometimes not great. You couldn't really resize it that much. It was really problematic if you're on a small screen. And so we've changed that up a little bit to where if I open up a data resource, it opens in a modeless dialogue, is what this is called. And so I can resize it, I can move it around, I can maximize it. And so it's just a little more flexible. It also lists all of my data resources and all of my client scripts here. So saving us some clicks, making it a little easier to look at. And then I can also pop up my client state parameters here. I kind of like this one because I can look at my client state parameters while I'm, configuring something over here, which is kind of nice.
That is nice. And so it stays open as long as you keep it open?
Yeah, so it stays open. You can, continue to interact with the page behind it. So I could click into this component and move it around and look at things. So that's data and scripts. Also adding a new data resource or client script, I get a new option here. And then again, all of my most used data resources, or these are the data resources we've kind of determined are the most common. I will say it's not dynamic yet, although that's something we're looking at doing. I can also, search data resources and things like that.
And that was your pet project, right?
It was. I mean, I didn't do any of the work. I just helped push that one through, I think.
Yeah, counts.
Fred, you mentioned this was a sneak peek at your lab. Is that lab being made available? Are you recording it so it's available later?
I hope so. It depends on how fast I get it done. Don't listen to this, Jason.
I hope so too, because I'll probably be busy that whole week and won't get a chance to go to your lab, and I'm sure it'll be full.
Yeah.
So I'd love to take a peek at that afterwards.
Yeah, I will get it recorded. I'm just joking. Yeah. So that was the new data and scripts panel. Another thing, where am I doing a formula somewhere? Oh, here it is a formula. The other thing is the new data binding. So this is, I think the best part of the new release. So if I click into that, I get a whole new interface here. And again, everything's discoverable. It's also contextual. So I always am going to have page properties where I can go in and look at some different props, right? So I have all of these user props here and other things. I can look at all my data resources and really kind of dive into what's in the data resources a little easier.
I like this so much because it's kind of how I actually do my coding. I actually will hit dot and then kind of scroll through all the things. Like, is this? I know I'm going to use this thing, but is this what is available to me?
Right. Or you'd have to, copy the JSON of your data resource and then try to, look at it while you're dot walking to the right thing. And so this is a lot easier. And then the other thing it knows is I'm inside of a repeater here, which in UIB, a repeater is just an iterator. So it's like a while loop or a for loop. Lets you walk through. So I can see already that there's 6 records in my repeater. And then I can click through into the individual values, which is what we're doing here. And then if I look, okay, it's two separate things. The other thing I can look at is formulas. And so let's go bigger.
Hey, just like Flow Designer.
Yeah, so for formulas, it's giving me some info about how to use these formulas, right? So, left divided by right, and it gives me an example for all of them, which is nice. One of the ones I use the most is concat. So I can come in and combine text with data and make something that's kind of easy. And so this is kind of a cool thing that you're not writing any code. I'm just kind of clicking on different values and typing words in, but it's going to let me combine, data and text, which is something we haven't really made available on the platform too much without having to write at least a little bit of JavaScript.
What does the data pill look like when it's in the concat?
Yeah, we can do that here. So if we get rid of this one. And I add the concat, so I could say, so if I just want some text here, we can say.
Oh, and it's giving IntelliSense for each one. Cool.
And then for the next one, I could add, let's go and find my name.
So everything is clickable through. Good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's all clickable. I could keep adding more, but if I go to apply, it ruins this, but then I have my name here. So visual data binding. The other thing that I talked about was modeless dialogues. And so I've been playing around with this for my lab quite a bit. And so here, if I show, let's look at a preview. I do not want to save. So this is we actually started this on You and I Builder Live a couple of episodes ago. But basically, I can click on one of these and my dropdown doesn't work right now. But this is a modeless dialogue. So I can, I may have taken away the resize option on this one. But I can maximize it, minimize it. I can close it. There's a little tray icon that I'm not using here, but this is the modeless dialogue. And the way that you work with modeless dialogues is really similar to modals and popovers, right? So we have this overlays, we have the body of the page, and then we also have overlays. And so from there, I can go in, I could create a new modeless dialogue, configure it. It's actually got a lot of options, a lot more options than we had with modals because modeless dialogues are a little more flexible. And then there are also a lot of different events that it can fire and things like that. We are kind of auto configuring some of these events when you add a modeless dialogue. This is something that we're trying to do more and more in UIB. Is auto configure things so you're not stuck, manually, configuring the same thing every time. But yeah, that's the modeless dialogue.
That's pretty cool. So everyone's going to be able to add these kind of things to their own workspaces and stuff.
Yeah, your own workspaces. So this lab, I don't know if anybody put it in the chat, but I think it's called Building a Killer Single Page App. So if you want to register for it at Knowledge, one of my goals for this lab was to show, a non-workspace, project that actually kind of makes sense for an instance. We are still not, I don't think a UIB portal fits many use cases right now. We still think you should be using Service Portal/Employee Center for most portal use cases. But there are use cases that are not workspaces and not portals that, you just kind of need a custom UI for. And so you'll notice that this looks a lot like some of our other interfaces. So what I did for this was I grabbed the page for the plugin manager that we looked at and just took the bones of that page and added it to this page and then built it out. So you can build out a totally custom interface that looks a lot like the things that we're already shipping, so your instance stays consistent, which is really one of the nice points of the new framework, is that you can pretty quickly build out things like this that have a consistent look and feel with the rest of the experiences that both we ship and you're building as customers. What else? Oh, let's do an image component.
Wybren in the chat is asking a question about, is there an editor coming for UX action layout to edit the buttons within forms?
Yeah, so we have a lot of plans for declarative actions, and so I don't think I can answer that specifically, but we're definitely I would look for in the future, and it may be more medium to long-term future rather than the next release or two. But we're kind of going to reimagine how you interact with actions and make it a lot easier. What was the last thing? Oh, image and icon component. So let's add another component. Ooh, before we get there, column layouts. So I've got a 2-column layout here where we've got 80 and 20. We've just added a few more controls to the column layouts where you can add more columns. I can also right-click here and add columns, distribute columns evenly, and I can mess with the layout from here. So lots of different options for column layouts. But let's add an icon component. So one of the things we did, the other thing that we did that I'm very happy with is we did a few things with presets. So our presets are getting a little, I don't want to say out of control, but there's a lot of presets here. So a preset basically enables you to automatically configure a component based on a controller that's already on the page. So if you add a form related component to a record page, it'll automatically configure itself and you don't have to do all of the config and events. But this none option used to be at the bottom, and it really bugged me because I always had to scroll down. We've moved it to the top. There's a search box now. You can say, only show me presets that correspond to a controller that's already on my page. And so just some ease of use additions there.
So Brad, this is a good time to ask you, since there are things that bug you or things that you take on as pet projects and you get to influence it, how do people tell you or get to your team there are things that annoy them? Or
yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of different ways to get to our team. So one of them is if there is something that you think is a bug or a defect or a perceived bug, open a case for it. Even if you're sure that there's no workaround or something like that, cases help us know the issues that are impacting customers the most. So the more cases something has, the easier it is to know that it's important and is going to have a lot of impact. So opening cases, opening ideas, and then also, our team, myself, Maria, Gabriella, and everybody on the Next Experience channel on Slack or in the community. We are, all looking at those and meeting with customers as well. So you can also, go through your account team and request a meeting with the product team to look at roadmap and things like that. So we're collecting feedback all sorts of different ways. If you randomly complain about UI Builder or Workspace in just about any public forum, I probably will see it. And that's fine. I mean, all feedback is good feedback to me. And so, if there's something that everybody is I don't know, complaining is a real negative word, but if you're offering us opportunities to improve that are really consistent, we will try to take those and improve on them.
Nice. Thanks for answering that.
So icon component is something that we have changed a little bit. One of the things we did was we changed this icon picker. So a lot of components have icon pickers like this. And before it was just a vertical list. And so if you didn't really know what something was called, like the delete button is called trash can, or the delete icon is called trash can, or something like that. Sometimes I can't think of what the actual name of the icon is. It's hard to find. And so this is, a little easier to scroll them. I've got a search box. And then the cool thing that we added was I can also add a custom icon. So I can pull from the DB image table. I think I can reference from a URL. And then I can also upload my own image to use as an icon. So this just makes things a little more flexible. I do like.
Wow, DB image has some old graphics in it.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
Custom image for icons and also the workspace itself, right?
What do you mean for the workspace itself?
I thought there was 2 places you could do custom images.
There's an image component as well.
Okay, yeah.
So there's icon components and image components. I thought I had one more thing. Oh, that's another thing. So I saw a comment about templates. I didn't read the whole thing because it reminded me that I want to show something related to page templates.
Wyvern asked, will there be more template layout y'all often use for people to...
Yeah, so that's a good question. I really want to get some sort of template for this in as a template in the future. And so it probably won't be exactly this template because, if our design team is watching, I apologize. I probably broke some design rules while creating this myself. But we'll have them. I would love to have them come in and share some sort of template like this. Yeah, that's a good question and something I definitely want to get in there. But what we did do is we did add more templates on the new layout system. And then one of the big ones is we added a dashboards template. So if you're using the new platform analytics experience and you have opened it up to your agents to create their own dashboards or mess with their dashboards, you can use this template and then share those dashboards specifically with different workspaces and open them within the workspace. I'm pretty sure this is true. I've done this a little bit, but this is a new version of that template, so you can use that. And then, we've added more and more templates here. So there's a new list page template that's helpful to where these used to be legacy templates. So they were on the old layout system. Now they're all on the new layout system. You can also, there's a visualization designer template as well. So if you want to show dashboards, you can do that with the dashboards template. If you want to enable your agents to create new visualizations within a workspace, you can also use that template. Record page, 3-column layout. I don't know what that is. Yeah. All right. We've got 10 minutes left. I am happy to answer any questions, but I think that's the end of the demo. If you do think of more questions or want to see something else, we are, doing more stuff this week. So we've got UNI Builder Live, where we'll take a look at the new version of the Chrome extension. That was crazy. The new version of the Chrome extension and the new stuff with the CLI. So if you have questions specific to custom components, CLI, Next Experience developer tools, bring those, because we'll have people that know way more about that stuff than I do. And then on Friday, we'll build something. We'll probably make progress on my lab because I'm running out of time. That may be what we do on Friday. So we'll see.
Okay. Just for, if you're interested in any of the things that we talked about, or even in the chat, we talked about different links. Right after this episode ends, I'm going to post a link to, if you want to sign up for the Next Experience Academies, if you want to look at the Build a Killer Single Page Experience Lab for Knowledge 24, a link to how to some of the custom components that we built for Hacktoberfest, so that you could dive into building your own custom components and see how they're set up. And then the episode of UNI Builder Live, where they started this app of that Brad and Maria Gabriela were building to build a custom page, along with Next Experience developer tools, Chrome extension link, and a link to the past Next Experience YouTube Academy, all on a playlist for you all to look. So there are a bunch of links will appear in the description below this video. Just make sure, if you're watching live, to refresh afterwards. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll get those links up. I said a lot of things. Was there more things that you wanted to share, Brad?
No, that was good. Yeah.
Other things that are happening, check out devlink.sn/Washington, D.C. to see all the other stuff that's coming up. I think we're finally rounding out our content season, or is it
getting close? Yeah,
we're getting close. That means knowledge is coming.
41, 42 days, 6 weeks from today.
Go to knowledge.servicenow.com if you haven't already registered. Find UIB stuff on community.servicenow.com. One self plug. I have been starting to go live on Twitch again. So if you go to twitch.tv/ServiceNow dev program, I'm streaming again tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific and 9:30 a.m. in IST. So if anybody's seeing this, then come join me. We're building weird stuff. I'm probably going to play with the CLI and SDK tonight, actually. What else? Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks,
Lauren,
y'all.
Brad,
Thank you,
Chuck,
Brad.
anything else?
Not on my end. Great job.
Cool. Thanks, Brad, for showing us all that stuff. That's a lot of updates in one release.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
In case you missed it, this is the 10th CreatorCon, so this can be a special blowout at Knowledge. So another incentive to go.
It's our 10th CreatorCon, and we just passed our 100th episode of Breakpoint. If you haven't watched that episode, either on YouTube or on your whatever device you get podcasts on, so check all of that stuff out, because it's all cool stuff that Lauren and Chuck were doing.
Kudos to Lauren for making that one happen.
It was all fun stuff.
Dev meetups are talked. I think there's some dev meetups coming up too.
Oh yeah.
Make sure to go to meetups. Check out devlink.sn/meetups also to find out about that. Some of our UI Builder and Next Experience people will be out there too, so check those out.
We're going to do a live an in-person UNI Builder live show at the Denver Developer Meetup on April 18th.
Oh, very cool.
We need to talk about that too if we want to podcast it. Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks again, Brad. Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day, y'all.
Day and morning.
Bye.